we are kicking off with a little more housekeeping. I'm enjoying talking about 2H Media at the start of our streams. Yeah. This time we're talking about the 2H Media Shopify AMA Recap. In late January, we ran our first Shopify AMA of the year in collaboration with Shopify. The recent AMA focused on marketing questions for small businesses, and in answering those questions, we noticed some common trends. A lot of small businesses are struggling to find their audiences without breaking the bank. Also, a lot of small businesses aren't sure what products to focus on or how many products they need to carry. There is still a ton of misinformation surrounding SEO, and a surprising number of business owners blame bots for low conversion rates. We really enjoyed running the AMA, and we have more great content planned for 2025 in collaboration with the Shopify team.
Yes.
So first discussion question, can we just share some of our thoughts on the trends we found in our recent AMA?
There was lots of conversations. So the topic of the AMA was marketing in general.
Yep.
Obviously being Shopify, it was 90% e-commerce businesses. They might have had a brick and mortar element to them. A lot of them were very new to being business owners. A lot of like early stage startups, some pre-revenue.
Yeah.
A lot of people had questions around making the most out of advertising on Meta.
Yep. Well, so again, we've compiled some trends in putting this together. So like the first one, a lot of small businesses are struggling in general to find their audiences without spending a ton of money.
Yes.
This is a major challenge, and it's something I think a lot of people don't realize that they're going to have to contend with when they get into e-commerce, particularly when they launch their own e-commerce store. I saw a couple of small businesses who said, I have higher sales on Pinterest than I do on my Shopify site. And they didn't understand that, the reason for that is that Pinterest is a marketplace.
Not Pinterest, Etsy.
Sorry, Etsy.
Etsy.
Yeah, I have higher sales through my Etsy store than my Shopify site. And that's because they didn't realize that Etsy is a marketplace and Shopify is mostly just a storefront that exists on your tiny back alley website that no one knows the location of.
Yes.
That's changing a little bit, but it's a slow change because like Shopify is pushing the Shop app, which has more of a marketplace feel to it. I've been saying for years, this feels like their attempt to create an Amazon competitor.
Yep.
But it hasn't reached the level of Amazon yet in terms of popularity. Like I never go to the Shop app looking for things to buy. I buy from a lot of Shopify sites because it's one of the top e-commerce platforms.
Yep, me too.
But I'm not going on the Shop app and looking for like things from the random e-commerce stores that I buy from.
I don't even if we're going to we use Amazon all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm typing my search term into their search and a whole bunch of businesses show up and you look and you find something and we know the checkout's easy and it's going to be here instantly next to that. But I've never once thought, I'm going to go to the Shop app and find it.
Yeah.
I've never done that once.
So knowing that putting your product on Shopify isn't going to make it sell automatically, we had a lot of people going how do I use the Shopify marketing tools? How am I going to get discovered now that I'm on Shopify? And it's that's not the platform's job. You've got to go out and do a bunch of marketing to make it happen. And people are going, okay, I don't have a lot of money. I can't spend a ton on ads. And some people were even saying, I don't have a lot of money. I don't have a lot of time.
Don't start a business.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be really tough to make any money if you don't have a big surplus of at least one of those things.
It's what resources do you have to work with? Time and money, combination of both. If you don't have one, you better have the other. If you don't have either, save up, find something.
Now, for those people that had already started a business and were in that position, I still tried to give them some advice that wasn't just quit, throw in the towel.
Yes.
Yes. And so what I landed on is, okay, if you've got limited options because you don't have a ton of time to invest in just slowly building a social media presence and you don't have the money to just throw at ads, well, then you need to make your time really, really impactful. Every second that you put into your business needs to amount to a lot. And so what I came back to is traditional sales and in-person networking and marketing. Yeah. Because if you don't have time to build your business yourself, you need to find a way to leverage other people's time to make that happen. And the only way you can do that is through things like selling on commission.
Selling on commission is great.
Right? Finding wholesale distributors who might be interested in your product and stocking it and giving you, money to put in their stores, or giving you a consignment fee when they actually make the sale. Like, there's lots of ways you can structure it.
Yep.
But the idea is, if you can't go out and build an audience because you don't have the time, you don't have the money, and you likely don't have the skill set to just go viral on social media, you are better off building some relationships and trying to leverage those connections. Another trend that I didn't list here actually, but that I saw a lot from talking to businesses in that AMA, a lot of drop shippers.
A lot of drop shippers, and this wasn't specifically a drop shipper AMA. Shopify had just done a drop shipping AMA the month prior with an internal team member of Shopify that went quite well.
Yep.
But yeah, tons of drop shipping's a hard market.
It's really, really tough. And a lot of the advice I just shared in terms of find other people to sell on commission basis, or stock your products on consignment, that will work 0% of the time if you're just white labeling some Chinese product and trying to drop ship it. Because as a small business owner, or as someone else who's going to rep your brand or share your product in their space, there's not a lot of motivation to stock your generic off the shelf products. That really actually ties into the second big trend I saw from talking to small businesses in the AMA.
Yes.
People weren't sure what products to focus on, or how many products they need to carry. One of their businesses I responded to had been in business for 8 to 9 months, is the range they gave.
Okay, so under a year.
And had pivoted from selling clothing to selling baby products.
That's a pivot.
Same website, same everything, and they just took all the clothing products down, replaced them with baby products, and they went,
why isn't it working?
They go, I'm doing SEO and social media. And it's well, it's not working because those are super, super slow long-term strategies. And
you've got to be a dynamite on social media to get that to go fast.
Yeah. Right? Less than a year is not enough time to see if that strategy's been successful. It's really tricky. And I
on
wish
the same store.
On the same store.
So you're actually starting from a negative, because all of your existing things that could have been partially working, or even at the 1% mark, are now back to zero, probably in the minus. And now a search engine is going to be oh, what is your URL all about? What is your store all about? Or what is your
right?
And it's just
and each of these product lines also had even less a year to be successful, because they switched somewhere in that range. Right? So that's a tiny amount of time to try selling these products through a platform like Shopify.
Yeah.
I think if you're gonna try and sell random products that you're white labeling and bringing in, and then just trying to push into an ecosystem and get out there, number one, you really need to have a really good trend to jump on.
Yeah.
And number two, I think you need to be selling through a marketplace, or be a social media god.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the way to push that product out quickly to a huge audience,
it'll die.
Right.
You're sitting on whatever inventory or not inventory, but all the time, you've probably put some ad dollars in place. You've spent time building the store, putting in the photography, all of that. It's the core. We talked a lot about the other day, or yesterday, behind the scenes. We talked a lot about why you get into business.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like they found their why. Why are they in business? So it's why are you doing this thing? Because great, maybe you have to pivot. Maybe something changes in the marketplace. Maybe something changes in your personal life. But that why needs to be there, because it sounds like you're just chasing money. It sounds like you're chasing a trend.
Well, I think for a lot of people, it's less that they haven't found their why, because a lot of people are coming from a place of desperation. The employment market's really rough.
It is.
And everyone has a side hustle these days. And people are looking for ways to get ahead of the curve that you can't by just going and clocking in at your 9 to 5 over and over and over again. So I think a lot of people have really strong whys because they have a need to make more money. What they're lacking is their value proposition and their unfair advantage. Right? If you're going and you're starting a drop shipping store because you watched some YouTube video where someone told you, get into drop shipping, you'll make all this money, you've got no competitive advantage because you don't have any of the skill set. Yeah. You don't have any of the experience.
There's
you don't have unique connections.
There's a factory pumping out 1 million of these a day.
Right. And that factory is going to make a bunch of money.
Yep.
But like, we saw a ton of businesses saying, I've been in business for 12 months and I literally have 0 sales. I directed a lot of those businesses to our video that we did a while ago on like troubleshooting low revenue on an e-commerce store, troubleshooting low sales, because like that could be a lot of things. It could be that your store's not set up well. It could be that your offer isn't appealing. It could be that your shipping settings are throwing people
terrible,
off.
Yeah.
It could be that your checkout doesn't work, right? Or it could be that you're just simply not driving a lot of traffic to your store, and you kind of got to examine all these factors and figure out what it is. So it's a real struggle. But I talked to a lot of businesses through this AMA that were not sure what products to focus on, and we're like going way too broad. We see this all the time, and we saw it again here. We saw lots of businesses going, oh yeah, I've got 20 products and I'm trying to add more. And it's like, they've got this idea that they need to be a department store.
Yes. It's like,
right? Like
the question is why? Why do you need to be in a department store? Because it's a fallacy. That's false thinking.
It's really hard to do.
Yeah. You need to be good at like what you're good at. And like the more things that you try to be good at, the less good you're going to be at other things. So you're just being split too thin. So
we got a really fascinating question. Someone said they had a 1-product Shopify store, and they asked if that could be viable.
100%.
Right? And I'm like,
heck yeah.
It absolutely can. Now, the caveat to that is it's much easier to do with a high ticket item.
Yep.
Because if you've got, a $20 tchotchke, selling enough volume of those to make this your income is going to be really challenging. If you sell a $50,000 piece of manufacturing equipment and that's all you sell,
you're going to probably be okay.
Right. Because
we make the thing.
Yeah. And you only need to sell so many of them to pay for your overhead and be successful. Now it's maybe a bad example because if you're manufacturing something that complex, you've probably got a ton of overhead in terms of like producing the thing. But if you can go like higher ticket and super specialized and then like put the effort in to making your store present that product really well.
I know tons of businesses. Like there's a pottery place not far from here. They make cups.
Yeah.
Sure, they might be like different variants of they make cups.
Yep.
That's it. No plates, no vases. They make cups. The cups are sweet. The cups are cool. They sell cups. One product, like it's like that's what we got. We don't like
even look at a big brand like Yeti. Like they've branched out into a bunch of things.
Yeah, now, but like go back like 4 years. They sold cooler. No thermoses, no fancy cups, no nothing. They had coolers. Right. They had like 3 coolers in like 2 colors. That was it. And the coolers were just good. They kept ice like a week.
And even
that was it.
Now,
it was a cooler.
For the most part, their core product offering is their core product offering. Yep. Everyone knows what it is. Everyone recognizes a Yeti mug.
Yep. There's one behind me. There's 2 behind me. There's 10 over there. Yeah, we like them.
I look at like
one thing.
Big companies like Apple. Apple sells computers and phones and accessories for those devices.
Yep.
And they've kept the offer really tight, really high quality, really high value. And then they have these mile-long product pages telling you all of the features of those products insides and out. And they have lots of variants. Like they've got last year's iPhone, this year's iPhone, a couple of different levels of it.
Yeah, they got the all that.
But they are a big enough company that all of the products that they offer can receive the treatment they need in order to feel really premium and in order to stand out on the market. And so I would always rather see, all this is to say, I would always rather see e-commerce businesses sell a handful of products really, really effectively and put the effort into building out those product pages rather than trying to sell a super wide range of products and put in the minimum effort to each.
We've got stats on this. Shopify released some data a couple of years ago. Like some of the top performing Shopify stores are 10 products or less. And you really have to look at it and go like, if a customer didn't like your first 10, why are they going to like the 11th? Yeah. If you haven't got them on the first 10 of like your best offering, what makes you think like, oh, thank goodness we've got that 11th and 12th product up there, let alone 100.
Yeah.
Let alone 500. It's like,
that's a really good point.
Are we trying to be a grocery store? Are we trying to be a department store? Are you trying to be like, just do like a handful of things really, really well. Get that. And this is like the common thing with Yetis. Like if you can nail like your first couple, then you can build onto that brand and the social media following and the value that you've created. And then you can tack on your 12th item. Then you can bring in something else, but to create another revenue channel. Then you can do something else. But to try and start that wide is well, one, it's a waste of time, and then two, it's back to unfair advantage. Like, is the unfair advantage that you just have the biggest selection? That's going to be hard to do. That's
It's really funny that you say that. My introduction to business, I worked at a family business.
Yep.
And we were a jewelry store, and our company motto was selection, service, speed.
Selection, service, speed.
Because
wholesale business.
Oh, yeah.
Wholesale business. So like,
and we rode that trend from like the early days. We were in the piercing industry, and we rode that trend from like the very beginning when that first started to take off.
Yeah.
But one of our
way before
driving forces when my parents founded the company was we're going to have the best selection of any company in Canada. And in the early days, that was really viable. There wasn't a lot of competition, and people were excited to try new things. So like we having this huge selection really helped us. When I was a young adult and started to get more involved in the management of the company, one of the first decisions I made was to cut our inventory in half.
Yeah.
At the time, we had hundreds of thousands of SKUs, and it was this massively complex amount of overhead. It was a crazy amount of information to jam into a product catalog, and the trend had leveled out. Piercing jewelry had gone mainstream, so not everyone was going to like mom and pop tattoo shops anymore. We were starting to see chains popping up across Canada. And so our volume was not the same as what it was in our heyday.
No.
And what I found was our similar products were competing with each other for sales.
So you're cannibalizing your own, which is like terrible.
Yeah. You know, if we had a page of like 30 belly button rings with crystal dangly bits on them, and I cut that down to 15%.
So 30 to 15. Yep.
With crystal dangly bits on them. Well, I didn't see a 50% drop in sales. I sold individually more of the pieces I was still stocking. And this solved a major inventory problem for us. Now, it's tricky when people are doing drop shipping or print on demand because they don't see
endless. Yeah.
Well, they don't see the cost associated with carrying a super wide inventory.
Right.
Because you don't have to actually warehouse all of that.
Nope.
You don't have to pick and pack it. You just go, it
goes on a pillow and a bed sheet and a cup and a coaster and a playing card and it's like, well,
which has all kinds of pitfalls to it. There were a lot of artists in the AMA.
Yep.
And a lot of them were doing print on demand, which makes sense if you're an artist. You can sell finished like full pieces, you can sell prints, and you can sell your art on things. And if your art is good and people are buying for the art, odds are you don't really need to focus on like finding the highest quality
mug maker.
Right. You can put it on a mug and people are buying it for the art. So it's okay. But when you try to sell mugs and pillows and cell phone cases, those products are going to appeal to very different audiences.
Yep.
And it's going to be very difficult for you to build a brand around any given line.
And now the art kind of gets lost in the mix.
Absolutely.
It's like if you're just focused on the art, like every time we've gone to a show, what's at the merch table? They've got some sweaters, they got some hoodies, crew neck, they got some band posters.
Sure.
They might have some like odds and ends, they might have some vinyl, they might have some album. Great. I've never seen a pillow. Yeah. If I go on the band's website, if I go like the Queens of the Stone Age website, who has like awesome art for all of their concerts, I've never seen the Queens of the Stone Age official CD or official cell phone case.
Yeah, right?
I've never seen that. I've never seen the Queens of the Stone Age coffee mug. I'm
sure you've seen it like Hot Topic.
Sure.
Right? Like it exists.
Sure.
If you're a big enough brand,
sure it exists.
You can put it on anything. Because like I have seen a Stranger Things cell phone case.
Right.
That is a big enough brand.
But if I was to go to that show where that their brand is representing.
Oh, they're selling like albums and t-shirts.
They're selling the things that they because it's back to the audience.
Yeah.
The audience is not going there for the mugs and the pillows and the pillowcases. They're going there because they're fans of the art.
I bet you cell phone cases at concerts would sell actually. Okay.
Oh, jeez, it hurts my head. It would.
It's right, like if the price point's right, it kind of like it fits the audience a little.
This is the official. I bought this at the case. Maybe even throw a signature on it. I don't know. Yeah, probably.
But like, a bunch of the artists I talked to, their pillows sell really well.
The pillows sell really well.
Because they've got like nice abstract-y art. put it on a pillow. Someone sits on their couch. It's a nice accent piece.
Nice.
But then like the pillows were clashing with the cell phone cases. And like I see this all the time when people are doing print on demand. So like I'm not trying to call out any of the business owners that I talked to, because there were like a lot of small business owners that were just using the tools that were available to them. And going, okay, this print on demand service I'm using offers a bunch of different things. I'm going to experiment with all of them. And of course they did that, because all they knew was that was available. They didn't have a business mentor, someone like teaching them who was familiar with the e-commerce world, saying, no, Amazon can sell every product. If you are an individual small business owner, you need to sell a few things really, really well.
And you'll be fine.
And
you'll be fine. And you way less headaches. Another set of challenges will present itself, but like, and again, go back to who your user personas are. What do they value? If you make like nice abstract art, pillowcases work. Great. Good.
Couple more we should touch on before we change the topic, Silk. Still a ton of misinformation surrounding SEO. I really want to talk about this because we have been offering SEO work. It's something that early on as a company, we didn't offer SEO at all. We told a lot of companies, because we were focused primarily on really small businesses, that they didn't need SEO. And it's something that we are selling more of now. We're building out actually a service offering for SEO that we're going to be really putting some effort behind. We're working with with Christina, who's a great SEO expert. She's been on our YouTube channel before, and we're going to be selling SEO ethically. We're going to sell SEO to companies that are a good fit for SEO, and we're going to clearly explain what to expect from the process, what they can get out of it, and how long-term it is as a marketing strategy. There's lots of good reasons to do SEO once you hit a certain scale.
It has to be at a certain scale, and you have to be in the right space for it, because like you're generating content. No one is interested in reading your plumber's blog. No one is interested in reading your, there's very few custom, and again, because it's service-based.
So with that example in particular, if they're doing any kind of like how-tos, that's a really good way to build authority.
The blog, yes, the authority place, when it comes to service-based companies, you only have so many people in your geographic region. So yes, the how-to videos, if you want to teach people how to change a faucet, for example, you're going to be teaching people all over the world on your YouTube channel how to change a faucet. So you'll never have gotten that work anyways. You'll have created a nice video, and the person in BC will see you, even if you're in Ontario. It's not going to cause loss of revenue. But yes, it's going to be a very, very big authority play. Like, look at me. I've got a whole bunch of people because I teach people how to do stuff online. Going to be a little bit harder to generate revenue from that if you're trying to treat SEO purely as I put the work in SEO. I see it on my bottom line.
Now,
different.
We've talked to Christina about this before, because this is something that I struggle with as not an SEO expert, is does that blog make any sense if you are something like a plumber? And from what we talked to Christina about, I think it still does.
It's just different.
Well, no, it's because SEO doesn't work for anyone if you're trying to just get them to your site, reading an article, and then making a purchase.
Oh, yes, in this case, yes.
Right? It doesn't work for anyone ever doing that, because pages that are set up for SEO and pages that are set up for conversion are fundamentally different. And it's really tough to make a page do both.
Oh, it's yes.
But in any case where they're coming to your website for SEO content, I don't see any reason why that plumber can't retarget those customers through ads, so that when they're trying to Google an actual plumbing emergency that they can't do themselves, they now land back on that website where they read that helpful article and they go, oh yeah,
Joe's Plumbing, or
it's these
Paul's
guys.
Plumbing, or whatever.
I'm going to call them now because they built authority, and there's some reciprocity because they helped me out with this blog post, and now I'm back on their site through SEO.
And that's the more complete, holistic way to do it. Is I'm trying to attract attention, even if they're not ready to convert, or even if they're not ready. So we see this. So moving the goalpost a little bit here from plumbing into another service-based company like pools, larger purchase. There's people that do a lot of research around if they want a pool in their backyard, and there's like a whole bunch of plumbing that has to be done if you need a pool. It's how much research goes into that purchase going ahead of time, and specifically those customers are looking for a local provider and planning ahead, and that's where like SEO can really take off. And then you said mixing it with some retargeting. Yeah, absolutely. That strategy like that,
I think the retargeting is critical.
Because they're not interested in making a purchase, potentially not making a purchase right now.
Yeah.
They're interested in maybe planning or researching or maybe finding some price. They're in, if you look at that journey map, they're in the consideration stage.
Yeah.
They're maybe trying to be aware, maybe even before that, maybe they're in awareness. They're trying to find some pricing or some whatever. And this is true of like people that sell anything that's high ticket, hot tubs, pools, cars, even like a big addition on a house. Like there are tons of service-based businesses on top of product, running shoes, basketballs, like anything. Like I'm trying to do something before I make a purchase, gift giving, all the same.
I'm gonna take a hard stance on this, and I want you to tell me if you disagree with this point.
Okay.
No one at all in any industry should spend money on SEO if they're not also spending money on ads.
Ooh. I'm thinking of if there's an exception. There is exceptions.
Okay.
There is exceptions. There are different types of businesses.
So hit me with it, because I think this is worth delving into.
Yeah. So like there's charities, for example. Charities, nonprofits. If they're not spending money on ads, they can still be doing that play. There would be.
I would challenge that. So like let's take a look at that example. Charities. So number one, I'm going to cheat.
They advertise.
I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to
do.
say Google has money available for charities to advertise.
Yep, Google does have
So
nonprofit grants. Yep.
You should definitely be doing ads.
Yep.
Because Google's going to make it way easier on you as a nonprofit.
Yep.
And so I feel that like that alone says before you go and spend a bunch of money on SEO, you should probably spend some money on ads.
Yeah, we'll capture the $10,000 that Google will give you a month.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I would say
what type of business?
I would take that further. I would say, even as a charity, if you spend money, if you're going to spend money, if you have a budget for marketing, that money will
probably
promote
best
your website faster through ads than it will through SEO every time.
Yeah, ads are going to beat the sprint. Like you're definitely going to beat it. It's now I don't even know if I could separate it because SEO and advertising are just tools within like the sales marketing layer of business. Why would you separate? Like they're just tools. They're just like, and they often work together. So I'm just trying to figure out in my head, like, would you ever run them? Is there a good opportunity not to run them? Oh, there is. Like, why wouldn't you like event-based things? Like you wouldn't like there
are lots of businesses that should be running ads, but not SEO.
Yes,
lots
of.
Yeah, so anything time-based, absolutely, like you say, but also small businesses. Like, If you're at a stage where you've got like $2,000 a month for marketing, and that feels like a lot to you because you're still a small business.
Yep.
That's not going to get you very far in SEO.
No.
And it's going to take a really long time for you to make that back.
Yeah.
Whereas if you put that same budget into advertising,
it's hundreds of clicks. It's hundreds of customers. Yeah.
That's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah.
So, and this is where my my stance that I'm taking is no one should put money into SEO that isn't already putting money into ads.
I could see that.
Because like if you're at a scale where you can afford SEO, you should have been at a scale where you could afford ads ages ago.
I think that's a big misunderstanding that people see SEO as like this free marketing tool. Like, oh, I can just do it and it's free. I wish there was just like I've repeated this like a zillion times. I wish I could just sell people this like SEO button where they just flip it and then suddenly their website is ranking 1 on Google. And like that'd be great. We'd sell it day long, and people would line up to buy it. But that's not.
We could sell that. We'd just be liars.
Yeah, we'd be liars. We'd be liars.
And that's why I wanted to highlight this topic because we saw a lot of small businesses in that AMA saying, I hired an SEO expert and it didn't do anything for me. I hired an SEO expert who made all kinds of promises, and it turns out they were scamming me. And it's like, because
that's a scammy industry. It is.
And like SEO absolutely has value to companies that are a big enough scale where they can benefit from it. Companies that are already advertising, because SEO will make your ads more effective.
Yep.
But when you're just starting out, if someone comes to you and says, pay me X amount of money and you'll be top page 1 of Google forever, and it's like,
how does that make your spidey senses not just absolutely tingle? Because like that person is going to be making calls all day long. Like you're on an email list. They just sent that out to 50,000 people. Yeah. Like one, it's really difficult in that service. Like if you're not able to meet with that person on the regular and actually talk about it and create some like benchmark KPIs going, here's how much web traffic I've got right now, here's what's going on. If they don't take the time to understand your business and understand what you're selling and who your customers are, that's one big red flag. You can just spot this right away is, what does your onboarding look like?
Yeah.
And if none of it is about your business, hang up the phone, because they need all the information about your business in order to create the things they need to do to make SEO effective.
I think SEO also falls into a similar pitfall to ads, where you really have to thread the needle in terms of your market. Because if you are, so we talk a lot about whether you should advertise with search engine marketing or advertise on social media.
Right? Oh, yeah.
Which set of ads you should pay for.
Awareness versus
if you are a new novel business where like no one's heard of your thing before, but they might like see it, be interested, and then go learn more about it and make a purchase, social media ads make way more sense.
Yep.
Because you want to appear in front of people's feeds when they're just like in an exploratory mood and looking at stuff. Whereas if people are actively searching for a solution to a problem,
plumber near me.
Yeah, if they're looking for your product, you're better off with ads, with search engine ads, because you're going to hit people who are actively looking for that thing on there, typing it into a search engine. So that's kind of the split for social media advertising versus search engine advertising. SEO, I think, has similar requirements to search engine advertising.
Oh yeah.
If your product is new and novel, SEO is going to do nothing for you because no one is searching for that thing.
Correct.
But then by the same token, SEO has the same fall off that ads do, where at the far end of this, if your industry has a ton of competition, is like really close to being commoditized, where like everyone in the world is trying to sell into this finite number of people who are looking for that thing, you're going to really struggle to compete with all the other companies that have already been building up their digital footprint for years, already have a search engine presence, and have an established ad budget and advertising strategy.
Even if I go back to that, because like I absolutely agree with that. Even if I go back to like the plumber near me, there is a plumber that appears first, second, third, and SEO goes into that play going, who's got the most amount of reviews, who's been in business the longest, who's the closest, like there's a whole bunch of other factors that go in that the plumber needs to care about, even if they're not in, even if like the search ads make sense for that person, because if you can now change some of your internal processes going, when the job's done, can you ask for a review? Did you do good work? Can you get them to upload a picture? What can we do to get more value from the customer that isn't just money, that's going to help generate or help your marketing team out? Like there's so many strategies that go into play, even if you only service like 2 cities.
It's even better if you only service a couple of cities.
Yeah.
Because like that plumber has some key advantages. It's a product people are searching for.
Yep.
And it's by its very nature limited to a specific target market in one geographic area.
No global competition.
Yep.
Like there's no big plumbing outfit that's going to go plunk down and cannibalize your entire, like very unlikely.
So like if you are serving a local audience, that's a huge step over like most small businesses because you know who your audience is.
Yep.
And if you're selling something that like a bunch of people are already going to be searching for because it's a well-known product and you're not dealing with global competition, SEO and ads are probably a really good fit for your business.
It's
SEO and search engine ads.
Super good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for that, there is difference between global SEO and local SEO. So like big time, there are two different strategies. There are different tool sets. Are you like, and again, from a small business point of view, like if you could just dominate one market, like not like Ontario, dominate like the city you live in. There's enough customers in given that you're not in a really, really rural area. There's enough customers in one city to make your business thrive. So like if you can't dominate the place, and this goes right back to the too much inventory. It's don't feel like you have to spread out because you need more customers. You're not killing it well enough here before you start taking your eye off where you are. Because if you can't sell it here, you're gonna have a really hard time selling it there because there's another one of you over there too.
Yeah.
So,
if we could like have a soundbite to end out.
I want you to say the same thing again. I want you to say that little soundbite again, which is you should mix. You should, like your advertising strategy.
So your SEO will support your ads. If you're not already spending a bunch of money on ads, it probably does not make sense for you to spend any money on SEO because you're not yet at a scale where you're going to be able to capitalize on that investment on a time frame that's going to make sense for your business.
Soundbite. Lovely. This is a really surprising one. I'll jump in here. The surprising number of businesses blaming bots for low conversion rates. I don't believe that's true.
Yeah.
Bots are a thing. Yes, they are. I'm not doubting that there are bots. There are fairly easy ways to tell if it's bot traffic or not. There's some basic tools that you can put on your website that are free, and you can track where the traffic is coming from. Now, if a whole bunch of traffic is coming from, pick a random Eastern European country, I would say, yeah, there's a whole bunch of bots landing on your site, and there should be some investigation into why.
Unless you're selling into that Eastern European country. Like if you know that your customers are there, obviously,
great.
It's a
Sounds
different
good.
story.
It's not a bot.
Yeah.
So like, great. So maybe there's a bunch of traffic, but you should be able to figure that out fairly easily. If you can't figure that out, you're gonna have to hire someone to put some tools on the site and then read the data. That's not overly expensive. You're not talking tens of thousands of dollars.
Now, what do you think is more likely? Because the people we heard this complaint from were people who were paying for Google Ads and saying, oh, I got a bunch of website traffic, but I didn't get any conversions. I think it's all just bots to make me feel good about the ads.
So I think, well, I'm gonna make some assumptions. One, their ad may or may not have been good. Great. The ad probably went to a page that was not set up for conversions.
Okay.
So 2, once they hit that page, the customer was maybe seeing a mismatch between what the ad said and what the page shows. And then walk down the sales funnel, there's going to be probably a problem at every single level of the sales funnel working all the way back up. So the shipping was probably a problem. There probably wasn't great product descriptions. The photography was subpar. The site was probably hard to navigate. They had to make too many clicks. Like there's a whole slew of things that were probably in the mix.
Yeah.
That are actually causing that. The traffic itself, maybe they got enough traffic, but I don't think everything else was set up. So great. It's really, Google makes it very easy to get an ad up and running.
Now, I want to circle back on the very beginning of that because you said the ad might be bad.
Ad might be bad.
What's a bad Google ad?
Okay, so there's like a bunch of targeting parameters that come right out of Google. So like one of the big pitfalls is people interested in or people actually in. So like, for example, I'm a Toronto business. Do I want to target people in Toronto or do I want to target people interested in Toronto? I want to target people in Toronto because you have to be in Toronto to purchase my product if I'm a restaurant. Great. I don't want to target the people in Windsor that are interested in Toronto because the likelihood of a person traveling from Windsor 4 hours to get to Toronto to go to eat, but they're still interested in Toronto, they're interested in the city, is a mismatch. So there's a bunch of settings probably in the ad campaign itself that were done incorrectly. The keywords could have been done incorrectly. There might not have been enough research around who the actual buyer was.
Yep.
So are we targeting the person that actually has the credit card or are we targeting the child? Because like the parent isn't going to see your ad, but the kid's going to see your ad all day long. How do I get the kid to convince mom and dad to buy the product at the Super Soaker 9000 that the parent is going to have to ultimately buy? There's going to be a whole bunch of targeting mishaps that happen in there. And then the ad probably wasn't refined. So they ran an ad, they built it, and then they ran it, and then they walked away from it, and it was never looked at again. And 2 months went by, or a month went by, and they went, well, I spent X dollars on Google, and I didn't get any sales. They go right back to the website. Well, you should have gone back to the ad. You should have said, what did my ad do? My ad displayed to this many people on mobile, on this, on that, and the other thing, and here's the click-through rate on all of these channels, and here's my top keywords. So like, here's are those keywords things that are related to the site? Yes or no? What keywords did I need to filter out and actually blacklist off of that because I want to stop paying for that keyword? Or they actually, so there's a whole bunch of things.
So, okay, they get those parameters wrong. They get the keywording wrong.
Yep.
They still drove a bunch of traffic to their website.
Yep.
So what was the result of all of that traffic that appeared when those keywords were wrong?
People got to the site, so they saw one thing and were delivered another thing. And then they went, that's not what I wanted. I typed in, I thought I made the right search in Google. It led me here, and I'm going to go, that's not what I was looking for. But the clicks already happened, and they're going to leave. So the bounce rate is going to be huge.
Okay.
Bounce rate's going to be huge because again, we have to meet the customer where they are. So
Sure.
if they're like super well informed, we can use more intelligent language. And if they're like super novice, I'm going to have to dial that back, and I'm going to have to meet them where they are. I'm going to have to use the words they want to use, that they are using. Not even the words that they should be using, the words that they are currently using. So like chauffeur and limo driver. No one types in the word chauffeur. We can see that data. No one types in chauffeur. Limo driver, 10-1. Great. The title of a limo driver is a chauffeur, but no one knows how to spell it right. No one's typing it in. We target limo driver.
Right.
Because that's what the normal person uses. The problem is on your website, you don't even mention limo driver because that's not like the polite way to address all of your employees. They're chauffeurs. But I have to meet the customer where they are. Because some of them don't even know what a chauffeur is.
Sure.
It's like, and that's just an example. So like talk about anything else. Talk about cars, socks, shirts, anything.
Great. The customer, they've seen an ad that's not set up well, and now they got the wrong impression when you reach their website.
Yep.
If your targeting is wrong, would you also say that you're not reaching the right audience?
You're absolutely not. Most of the time, you're not reaching the right audience. If you were reaching the right audience and putting the right product in front of them, then I would have another set of questions going, well, if it was the right audience and the right product, well, they probably would have looked around your site a little bit. They probably would have made at least 1 click.
Okay.
Or 2 clicks. They probably would have spent a little bit of time on your site if it's the right audience and the right product. You would have to start making some assumptions going, if it's right, but now suddenly they don't care.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. That's a hard one for me to rationalize. Because like they made the search, they're the right audience, you have the right product, and now suddenly they are not interested. Okay, maybe that's 10% of traffic. They get interrupted, but not the bulk.
So,
no way.
if we could wrap this up
So
again
like
in
the
another
bots are not the problem.
So the bots are not the problem.
No.
If you're getting a ton of traffic
Yep.
and you're not getting conversions, where's the first place you should look?
I'd be looking back at the ads, going, am I targeting the right people? Are my dollars flowing to the right place? Once I figured that out, then I'd go back to the website and I'd figure out what are those people, now those right people doing on my site? What does their user journey look like? What pages are they landing on? How far their scroll is. So there's tools there that you can actually, and they're not even, this is right out of Google Analytics. How far is their scroll depth? What are they seeing? Are their buttons working? Are their pain points being addressed? Is there enough text for people to read? Are you delivering them what people want?
Yeah.
Is your product saying, okay, if this thing's built really, do people care that it's built, super tough? Or is it super flexible? Or what is it? Are you just displaying things that what your customer actually cares about? Is there a little bit of social proof? Does the price point make sense? Am I getting there and I'm being thrown off by a whole bunch of other factors? I'd work myself down the sales funnel and say, what's my problem now? Because I'm gonna have another one. We should be expecting, so there's some numbers for you. I should be expecting at least a 5 to 7% click-through rate on the ad. So I display an ad to someone. If I display to 100 people, between 5 and 7 of them on average are gonna click the ad. So great, I've got 5 to 7 people on my site.
Yeah.
And now I've got another percentage. How many people are actually gonna purchase? Shopify site averages across different industries, 1 to 3% of those people will make a purchase. So like it's a double percentage. So I need like lots of traffic to get there. I'd like to be on the high side of those numbers. And it's not like having a conversion rate of 5% is not unheard of. It's not like it's not, some industries have a little bit more of an advantage there, but yes, we're looking at single digit percentages on both the conversion rate on the ad, the click-through rate on the ad, and the conversion rate on the site. And if those things are low, we have to look back to like what's actually not performing.
Yeah.
Is the ad not performing? So I'd say the bot traffic on the ad. It's like, well, what was your click-through rate on the ad? Is it 35% click-through rate on the ad? Because there's a problem there. Like we refined the targeting on the customer because like we can't have like we can't appeal to that many people. That's unrealistic. We have to put more filters in place because ultimately they're just going to get to the site and now we've spent the money and it's the wrong customer and it's gone.
If you're just joining the stream now or you clicked to the end of one of our clips on YouTube, we've been discussing our Shopify AMA that we recently ran, and we've been going into some of the top trends we saw from the AMA. What's next for 2H Media and Shopify?
Yes.
Can we talk about that?
We do. So we have a few more AMAs already in the works. Shopify is going to be, if you are a customer of Shopify, you'll be on one of their email lists. You'll be getting notified directly through them. If you follow us on social media, we'll have all the links out through there because they're not ready yet. But I will definitely say we have another AMA. One is on organic marketing happening at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on February 20th. And then all the way into March, we have a dual header. Shopify's never done one of this. This is like world first with Shopify. We have a 2-part workshop, a or not workshop, an AMA, Tuesday, Wednesday, back to back. One of the Tuesday, and it's all they're all at 11, starting at 11 Eastern Standard Time. The first one is creating a marketing budget for smaller businesses, and then the Wednesday one is actually maximizing a budget if you've already got one. If you've already got a budget, and how you actually refining it is the Wednesday. So more large budget things where you're trying to hone in on Wednesday, basics on the Tuesday. That is March 25th and March 26th. So you're gonna be getting a whole bunch there as well. And then we should be doing, for the rest of the year, I don't have any more dates because now we're planning out into like
that's okay.
The rest. It will typically be 1 to 2 workshop or AMAs a month, typically the last week of the month, all of 2025. We've got some cool stuff coming in the works. Some like cool government grant stuff for businesses that we're gonna, I can't tease more about, but if you like getting money from the government, there's gonna be some cool things there. As things shake up, potentially in the Canadian system, we'll be giving you more information there as well. There might be something in person come the summertime. I don't want to tease too much about that. That's looking promising. We might do something in person. It'll be fun.
All this to say,
lots of stuff.
We got lots of cool new topics in the pipeline.
Yeah.
If you're a Shopify customer, keep an eye out for those because it's a great opportunity to get some e-commerce insights.
And even if you don't have a question, just coming by to say hi is super cool.
Yeah.
And if you've never been part of an AMA, it's Ask Me Anything. It's really open. It's really easy.
If you're going to come by to say hi, just do it on the Twitch stream.
On the Twitch stream, though. Yeah.
Not in the Shopify forum. Because then we have to go through and respond to it. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's cool. It's very cool. We're happy to be a part of it. This most recent one was a massive turnout. We had almost more questions than we could handle. It was really, really good.
It was like 4 or 5 days of answering questions. I don't know if
I still have to do more. I still have to do more because I've got a bunch that I have to reply to. But yeah, it's a lot. It was like we were completely over. So thank you.
Yeah,
it was really cool.